What's up YouTube? It's Captain Chaser here with another deck video. Today we're going to be going over a ninja deck. It's a pretty versatile deck, but you don't really see many of them around. So I guess I'm just going to try to show you guys how it can work, how you guys might want to use it. So let's get started. So first you're going to run 3 Hanzos. Hanzo is basically like Stratos. He's going to be the ninja that's going to be searching out your trap cards, some of your monsters. He's 1800 attack, 1000 defense, and all around he's basically the card that you're going to need. You're going to have to run 3 of him if you're going to make a successful ninja deck. Next we're going to run Lady Ninja Yae. She's an optional card. She works as a giant Trunade. This version of the deck actually has a lot of wind monsters, so if you're discarding winds you can basically giant Trunade your opponent. Aside from that, she's a 3-star, 1100 attack, 200 defense, and yeah, just an optional card. Another ninja to add into is Abisu. He's a 4-star, 1800 defense, 1200 attack. Similar to Yae, he does do the sort of giant Trunade sort of effect, except his effect works if you have other ninjas on the field. Like I said before, if you don't have any other ninjas, sometimes Yae is more helpful. You can discard Abisu, or you can discard this next card, Air Armor Ninja. You're going to run 2 of him as well. When he's summoned, you get to reduce the level. You can choose, actually, to reduce the level of 1 ninja monster on your side of the field. So it can lead up to pretty good Exceed summonings, and aside from that, he's just another wind monster to add to the deck. The next ninja that we're going to be showing is Earth Armor Ninja. You're going to run 2 of him as well. He's more or less the Cyber Dragon of the deck. If you start out with him first turn, he's a first turn good card to start out. Later on in the duel, he's not so much, I guess, good. Sort of a dead draw, but nonetheless, he's Cyber Dragon in a nutshell. The next monster that we're going to be running is 2 Trickies. Tricky is another good card to run in this deck. You're gonna basically be doing a little bit of discarding and to set up for some of the other monsters in your deck. Sometimes you have synchro summons, exceed summons. You can go for rank 5s. You can go for like Stardust, and all around the Tricky is he's a 2000 beater just for discarding 1 card. The next card we're gonna use is Delta Flyer. He's a 3-star tuner with a pretty useful effect, and you don't really see many people using him. Once per turn, you can increase the level of one of your monsters on your side of the field. So if you have a 4-star and you don't want to sink in a Black Rose with him, you just increase it to a 5-star, and then you have Stardust, Colossal Fighter, any other monster that you need to summon. Yeah, so he's an all-around good dragon type. Wind tuner, 1500 attack. So he's a pretty all-around good card. The next tuner that most people know of is Gale. Later on in the deck, you're going to be using a couple of dark and wind monsters, so it's going to be setting up for another monster that's later in this deck. Gale is also another good card, can't be bottomless, halves one of your opponent's monsters' attack, and it stays that way. 3 stars again, dark type, and he's another good tuner to run. An optional card actually is Axe Dragonator, and we're going to get to him later, but for now, I'm just going to say he's a 2000 beater. When he attacks, he switches to defense automatically, and we'll get to the usefulness of this card later. Okay, so some of the main beaters: 2 Dark Simorgh. Dark Simorgh will usually be the one card that can either make or break the duel. Usually, if you're dueling someone that's usually setting heavy or they have like a whole trap heavy deck, Dark Simorgh usually shuts that down. He's easy to summon, seeing as how you're going to be discarding a lot of winds and dark monsters to the grave. Level 7, 2700 attack, 1000 defense. He can basically be special summoned like a Chaos Sorcerer. You just remove and play 1 dark, 1 wind from your grave, special summon him from your hand. Or if you have him in the graveyard, you can remove 1 dark and 1 wind from your hand and special summon him from your grave. And the main powerhouse of the deck is Dark Horus. You're going to run 2 of him. 3000 beater. His effect is very useful for bringing back Hanzo, and that's mainly because when your opponent activates a spell card during their main phase, you get to choose 1 level 4 dark monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And when Hanzo special summons from the grave, you get 1 ninja monster from your deck to your hand. So he's an all-around good card to go for. Moving on to the spells and traps, you're going to run the staples: 1 Monster Reborn, 2 Space, What else? Dark Hole, of course. Reinforcement of the Army, of course. Pot of Duality. It doesn't really need an explanation. Very good first turn card, especially if you're getting like a dead draw hand and you just need to get those extra 3 cards, and one of them might help you out. So another useful card, I would definitely say run 2 of these. Lure of Darkness. The deck has a lot of dark monsters. Sometimes you draw in a Dark Horse and you don't need him. Sometimes you draw in a Dark Simorgh and you don't need him. And it's an extra card just to get 2 cards basically to your hand. Reasoning, another card that you don't usually see around. Reasoning is another useful first turn card. You basically, your opponent has to choose a monster level and you mill the cards, and if the card is the monster level, then it goes to the graveyard. But if it's not, then you get to summon the monster. So it's another really good card, and you don't really see people running it, but for this deck, because it runs 3s, 4s, 5s, 7s, it ranges basically, I would say it's a very good first turn card. Sometimes you might pop out Dark Horse the first turn, so it's a really good card. Burial from a Different Dimension. Just a good card to get back some of the cards you might be using for Allure of Darkness, some of the cards you might be banishing for Dark Simorgh's effect, and some of the cards that may be banished for a later trap card in this deck. So it's basically another good card, basically for getting the cards back from your graveyard. From your move from play zone. Book of Moon, of course, no explanation. Stops your opponents. It's a pretty annoying card. Moving on, Foolish Burial, just to send some of the Darkened Winds to your grave. Yeah, no explanation again needed, really. Moving on to the main trap card of the deck, you're going to be wanting to run at least 2 or 3 Ninjutsu Art of Super Transformation. It's a very useful card. It targets one of your opponent's monsters while you have a ninja on the field, and you get to send both of them, and you can special summon a dragon, sea serpent, or dinosaur monster from your deck whose level is equal to or less. That's basically going to go for Dark Horse most of the time. Just in case you don't have Dark Horse, you can still go into Delta Flyer. If you don't have Delta Flyer, you can go into Axe Dragonood. So you can basically pawn off more of your opponent's monsters. And it's a very useful card. I would say run 2 or 3 of these in the deck. Another main card for getting out Dark Simorgh, Ninjutsu Art of Transformation. You're going to be wanting to run 2 of this as well if you're going to run this variant. You can go straight into Dark Simorgh if you want first turn, or second turn, or you can go into Gale, be annoying. And like regular transformation, you have to have one ninja on the field. You send it to the grave, and you summon a winged beast, beast type, or insect type whose level is equal to the ninja's plus 3. So that's automatically Dark Simorgh, seeing as how he's a plus 7. The next card, pretty annoying. 2 magic cylinders. No real explanation. Negates your monster attacks. They take it to the head, and it's another good card just in case they think you're running Mirror Force and they summon Stardust. You can just be like, oh, magic cylinder. 2 Call of the Haunteds. Like I said before, you're going to be doing a lot of discarding. Sometimes you might get rid of Hanzo with Reasoning. Sometimes you don't have that monster reborn in your hand. Call of the Haunted is a very useful card for this deck, for this type of deck. Another staple, I guess the last 2 staples, Mirror Force, no explanation, and Solemn Judgment, no explanation. Moving on to the extra deck, you're going to be wanting to run, we're just going to show you the Exceeds. You're going to run 1 Leviathan Dragon. You can either add Zenmaines in there as well. Steel Swarm Roach stops level 5 special summonings, or basically stops level 5 or higher special summonings. 2 Blade Armor Ninjas, you're going to be wanting to run him. He's going to be a very good card to get off. 22 attack, you can send 1 Exceed material to make 1 ninja on your side of the field, be able to attack twice basically. So that's 44 for him. If you have Anzo, that's 36. If you have Yay, that's 22. So basically you can more or less run over your opponent with most of your deck, which is going to be ninjas. That being said, Ouroboros, another good card that you can summon out. Basically Trishula, I don't really have to explain his effect. Once per turn you can use one of his effects, and all of his effects are similar to Trishula's. So he's another annoying card, 2750 attack. Another Exceed that you're going to be wanting to run is at least 2 of him, 2 number 12 Crimson Shadow Armor Ninjas. During either player's turn, you can get rid of 1 Exceed material to basically say that your ninjas can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. He's Monarch level attack points, he's a rank 5 monster, and he looks pretty cool. So he's another good card, and plus he's a ninja. Moving on to Synchros, Catastor, no explanation. Scrap Archfiend, a level 7 Synchro Beater. Dark End Dragon, you can go into him with Gale. You're going to basically be using him with Hanzo, in conjunction with Hanzo or with Axe Dragonoid. They're the only, they're more or less the only 2 4-star dark monsters you're going to have in your deck. Colossal Fighter, very good card. If he gets destroyed by battle, you get to get 1 warrior monster from either player's graveyard. Most of the time you're going to be going for him again, but you can also go for Hanzo, get that extra ninja from your deck. Staple Synchros, Black Rose of course, Stardust Dragon of course, Blackwing Dragon optional, and Red Dragon Archfiend to finish it off. So this was the, I guess the half dark, half wind ninja variant deck. It works pretty well. Usually you see a lot of ninja decks running what's the card? White Dragon Ninja with the Safe Zone effect. But if you want to have a different playstyle from that, I would definitely say try this one out. Dark Horus is a very useful card, 3000 beater. You'll bring back Hanzo. You can basically swarm the field in more or less a couple of turns. Like about 2 turns, you can have at least 3 monsters on the field. Sets up for some pretty interesting combos. You can have Dark Cyborg, Dark Horus, Hanzo on the field, and it's an overall good deck because most of the deck is Dark and Wind monsters. So that concludes this deck video. I hope you liked it. Comment, rate, subscribe, and look out for more deck videos from Captain Chaser. Alright, YouTube. Peace.